there guys, it's guy 76 here today, and welcome back to another How to Build a Cruise Ship episode. Today we're going to be working on the fuel tanks, and as you see I already laid out our little space for us here, so we can go ahead and get started. So first off, we should kind of decide, how big should it be on your ship. Well, I usually take about a fourth of the ship for the fuel room. Reason being, is because it is a big ship and it needs a lot of fuel, so as you can see I took quite a bit of a chunk out of here. So this is where we're going to be working today, so let's go ahead and start placing out some blocks. So what you might need for this is, one, some walls, or some cobblestone walls, because those are really good detail. You're going to want some iron as well, because it just looks nice, as well as iron bars. You're also going to want some quartz. Actually, you're probably going to want all different types of quartz. And be sure you get the slab, this type of slab right here, as well as some cobblestone wall. That's not the right one. What's it called? I think it's called brick. Right there. That. We go over to clay for our fuel lines. We want orange, and that should be pretty good for now. So let's go ahead and start making our basic fuel tank. So what's going to happen is that we can do two things. You can put a couple giant ones through down the center, or you can put two rows of small ones. For detail purposes and for educational purposes, we're going to be doing smaller tanks. So this thing should have maybe about 6 or 7 tanks. Or it's gonna be symmetrical, so 6 or 8 tanks. Man, I can't talk today. So we'll go ahead and just kind of make our small little tank right here. Again, they don't have to be very big if you're gonna put a lot of them in here. So just that's a pretty good size. Actually, trying to decide because I don't as you see, there's not a lot of room here. But actually, no, I have an idea, so we'll fix that later. But anyways, then you can just go ahead and kind of fill these up. Unfortunately, these slabs don't have full block potential just yet, so you have to kind of do it manually. Kind of sucks, I know, but it looks nice in the end. And the reason I do it is because in real life they are gray like this, and there really isn't a block with a lot of detail. Because I know there's like gray clay blocks that you can use, but I don't really like them because they just look weird in texture packs and all that stuff. It's I like using this because I like doing default because that's what you guys will be downloading, and most of you guys probably don't have texture packs, or they're all various, but you can always go to default and see what it actually looks like. So that's why I use this, and that's why I always film and everything in texture, or a normal texture, if you ever wondered. So we'll go ahead and just kind of build it up. I know it's not very circular, that's just kind of because it's very, very small. There's really not a lot of stuff you can do with it. Actually, though, one thing that I will do really quickly, because I know I like to go through the series and show you guys the do's and don'ts. One thing that that I see a lot of is people doing something like this. So they'll build, this little star, and they call this circular, but it really isn't, because if you look at it this way, it's a square. But if you look at it this way, it's still a sideways square. Always build it so that the edges are at least 2 or 3 blocks on the very end. As you see, I've done here, I've added 4 blocks. 1 block and then 4 blocks again, so it looks actually roundish. So be sure you do that, because I've seen a lot of people do that, and it's really irritating. So, I know we got to the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little border right here, because this is where the dome is going to start, the dome of the fuel tank, because it's a fuel tank, so it's kind of dome-shaped, if you will. And same in a cruise ship, I believe. So do that. I'm going to add 1 layer on the inside. Actually, where's my slabs? I need these slabs. Or actually, we can go ahead and use this as well. This would work just as fine, and it'll look even more detailed while we're doing it. So I'm going to add 1 layer right below the one we added. And you'll see why I did it in a minute. And then we start the dome, which is where all the fuel is kind of carried out. Or where all the fuel is stored, what am I saying? I can't speak today, it's Friday. Yay, end of the week. So there we go. As you see, it kind of creates a little edge or a border, and it looks pretty nice. So then you can go ahead and add where your fuel tank's going to go. I'll put it in this little corner right here. And make sure that it goes all the way down. And actually, no, not that way. You got to do it this way, because that's where the fuel tank connects. So I'll actually put this right there. Just fill that up. Little mistake. No problem, though. And go all the way to the edge so that it connects to the engine room as well. And there we go. We have a connection. I'll go ahead and connect it through here as well. And of course, just like last episode, we got to add our supports all the way down, just because these things, like I said, this stand's not going to float by itself, so you got to make sure that you do this. Because it'd be kind of cool if they floated by themselves. It's futuristic, but that's just never going to happen. And oops, support can't go there. We can do this and do stuff like that. Make it continue all the way down. Actually, we gotta go about this far because we're gonna end up stacking it here in a minute. And you do stuff like that, just keep adding the supports. And then one thing we're going to do is you can add a high-rise kind of thing right here, like an elevated platform. which you can put on the side right here. You can put like down an iron bar fence so it looks a little bit more detailed if you want. And you can add like some stairs right here. If you want to make like a ramp, you could. You could put like a quartz slab right there and make a ramp. And so you can go upwards. Go ahead and fill this in. That, and you can see I have like a nice little walkway right here. I'll go ahead and delete those because those have no purpose. And then even if you want, you can get like glass or something. Not that kind of glass. You want a slab. We can use like a, there we go, dark gray slab. You can like drill a hole in here so you can see like the little engine and all the fuel and all that, you know, so you can make sure that all of it's okay. If there's a fire in there, make sure the fire's not spreading, you know, hopefully that never happens because that'd be really bad. And then you can go ahead and add your supports on the outside so that the wall is able to support the fuel tank, because the fuel tank's not going to hold itself up and the wall does in fact need support. So I'm going to put 4 support beams, small support beams, on all 4 sides so that it makes up for the weight that this thing is causing. It's kind of an architectural thing. If you're into architecture, you might get it, but if you're not, then you probably won't get it. But just follow what I say. Just follow what the person on the camera says and you'll be alright. And if you even want to, you can even add like pillars up here if you want. You can see, like, it kind of connects and it kind of holds that whole structure upwards. Like that. And then you can add, like, you can really add a lot of different things. You can go crazy with this, but we'll go ahead and add these support beams, the big ones, like right here. You can just go ahead and like put these every couple blocks. So they don't have to be like insane. You know, you can just put like iron bars up to represent the wiring, because usually in engine rooms all the wiring is kind of open. You know, it really isn't. It's not a secret down there. You can put like on the top of them, make it look like they're like pillars where they stretch upward and all that. Really, you can just go crazy with this. It's really nice. You know, you can add as much detail as you want, and it'll always look nice when you're always done with it. You can get like a beacon, because it's kind of dark down there, so what I would do is just put a beacon in every other one, and it makes like this kind of effect, and it's cool. Like that. And then double check, see if you need to put beacons anywhere. Like I'd put one right there, just because it makes it look more lit up. And then this looks pretty nice. So, we can go ahead now and stack it, because that is the beauty of it. So, you'll go ahead and go to their farthest point, but make sure there's a space kind of right there, because you don't want these things to be touching each other. You want them to be somewhat separated. You go to the end, do that. And then I'm going to guess maybe 2, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. If it lines up perfectly, which it does. That was a lucky shot. So then you have all these fuel tanks, so it's going to end up having 8 whole fuel tanks, so that's actually a lot of fuel tanks. But that is very good. Actually, one thing also, if you wanted to do, is you can add these little yellow things, like this. You can put them, like, right here, like that. And if you want, you can get, like, a sign and add the number of the tanks. So this might be, you know, like, tank 1, like that. It's simple, you can go all the way down the rows, but since I don't really want to fill all the signs in, I'm just going to put the yellow signs. You can actually put yellow signs anywhere in an engine room, by the way, because yellow signs are caution signs. In an engine room, there is a ton of caution. It's an insane amount of caution that goes on in there. You know, there's fires and breakers just explode everywhere. It's like, you know, it's crazy. We'll go ahead and add some ramps down here, because we want to be able to make sure we can access this in the event of a fire. You want to make sure that you can get down there quickly, because these things can very well catch on fire. And now we're going to move on to the next stuff and just put fire prevention things. So you can put like little red type clays kind of down here, which represents a fire box or fire extinguisher, fire hose holder, whatever you really want to call it, it'll work. But these are usually placed down here that hold fire hoses and firefighting materials, just to make sure that if the fuel tank does catch on fire, then you are prepared. Oh, you are well prepared to make sure that that does not go down. Let's see, what else can we put in there? There really isn't that much that you can put into an engine room, or the fuel room. Reason being is because, I mean, it really is just what it sounds like. It's just a fuel room. It just holds fuel tanks. So, I mean, you can see, like, really elaborate ones, or you can see, like, really minor ones. It really just does depend on what your building style is and what your building capability is. So now we're going to go ahead and add some fuel, or not some fuel, we're going to go ahead and add some switches. The reason we're going to add some switches is because these things just don't operate themselves. You know, the ECR is right there, but we're going to want to add some alternative switches just in case. So you can put like a little work desk down here if you want, with like different types of switches that all do different things. And you can flip them, make it look like they're doing stuff actually in action. You can't really do it along this wall right here because there's no room. But you could put like switches just randomly across the wall right here if you wanted to. Make it look like it's like really fancy and high tech. This. Just kind of scatter them around. If you want to also, like, if you want to put them actually on the things, you can put like a release valve or something on there. You can put 2 of them. 2 release valves and all that stuff. If you want to do that. There's more and more detail. Just keeps on adding. Let's do something like that. There you go. And yeah, so, I mean, really what I'm just trying to emphasize here is that you guys can really go crazy with this. Like, even if you want to, you can add different beams in the walls. I mean, you can go crazy with this thing, and the beams don't even have to be symmetrical because there's an engine, or this part of an engine room, so, you know, it really just does not matter what you guys want to do. Although, one thing I would do is add these support columns all the way across, like every other one or something, just so it does have a basic sense of structure, because for a ship to hold this, for a ship to float, period, is amazing, but you need to make sure that your ship is structurally sound, because if it's not structurally sound, then the whole thing will collapse in on itself and sink, and you don't want that. So, see how I just kind of made like the pillars kind of so it supports it. If you want to add like more small pillars just to make it more structurally sound, to make it more realistic, you can. And one thing though I would add is more lights. But I don't see a place that I can do that. I don't think that won't work. Actually here's one good thing that you can do. Here's how to insert lights in an engine room and still make it look good. So you want to put like a little 2 thing column right there, put in these things just to add wiring details, what am I saying? It is a Friday, so I'm just out of it right now. But and then you can just put the light right there, and it looks really detailed. So if you want to add miscellaneous lights throughout the ship, you most certainly can. And again, it doesn't have to be even because it is an engine room. Now, if it was a passenger deck, it would of course have to be even. But this is a different story. It's an engine room. Engine rooms are amazing. You just add them everywhere. Add detail and just add whatever you want. It's insane. Yeah, there we go. So then we have all of our lights, and now is the best part of the episode where we get to flip all of the work. So we go again to the farthest edge, which is right there. Go all the way to the other farthest edge on the bottom. Just all the way down here. Right there. And go to the farthest edge over here. Copy, face in the direction, flip. Line up with the middle, and then do the wonderful / paste. And then there we go. We have the entire engine room, or an entire fuel room done. And it looks pretty nice in my opinion. You can go down here and double check your work, make sure everything looks nice, which I do believe it does. It looks like an engine room to me. And it does have 8 fuel tanks, which is plenty for these 6 engines. So yep, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, be sure to leave it in the comment section below. I'd also like to thank you guys again for the support of this series. I love how they're getting like up to 1,000 views each. That is awesome. And yep, so if you have any suggestions for the series to make it better, please be sure to tell me. And as always, have an awesome day.